I'd do something a little bit different for this week's video because I just got a great piece of recording equipment in the mail. And I figured I'd take this week's video and just talk a little about my recording setup and this new piece of gear that I got. So, first off, here's the new gear that I got. This is the SE Electronics DM1, or the Dynamite. It comes in this awesome little package. Actually, it's great. I keep this in a backpack that I take all my gear in and out of every single week to record, so it's actually nice that it fits in this thing. And actually, it's kind of a little piece of equipment. So, this is an active inline preamplifier. Take a look there. The SE Electronics DM1 Dynamite. It's a small thing. It plugs into the bottom of a ribbon microphone or a low input condenser microphone, and it boosts the signal of your ribbon microphone without giving any extra sound. So, recording with the trombone, you need to keep your ribbon microphone. I would keep my input on my interface somewhere around, say, like 3 p.m., you know, if you keep it as a clock face. But with this new piece of gear that I just got, I keep it maybe at around 9 or 10 o'clock. So it lets you reduce the input from the interface by boosting the signal. They say this boosts 28 decibels, and it actually gives you a much cleaner, much more accurate sound, which is what I'm after when I record a brass instrument, and particularly the bass trombone. So I got this, I gave it a shot. It sounds so beautiful. So I wanted to make this video to show you some examples of how this can change. Even if you've got a nice mic, even if you've got a nice interface, you're going to want one of these. It makes such a difference in the sound. Okay, so quickly though, before we go on, it helps the channel so much if you click that little like button down below, click that little subscribe button. It costs you nothing, and it helps the channel so much to do that. So, one other thing, leave a comment if you like this type of video. I'm thinking about changing up. I've done now 69 videos, which is really nice and all. But I'm thinking of changing up the style a little bit, maybe doing some educational trombone videos, maybe doing some educational recording videos, and talking about some of my gear that I have and some of my recording techniques. So if you'd like to hear about that, leave a comment below, and I love to hear from you. I love to hear some input and maybe branch off in a couple of new ways for the channel. Okay, so before I show you any examples, let me just explain to you a little bit about my setup. I am using the SE Electronics X1R, which is really affordable ribbon microphone. It's my first ribbon microphone that I ever had. It works beautifully. It sounds great, especially with the new Dynamite that I got. So I use this SE X1R plugged into a Focusrite Scarlett Solo interface, which is just the one channel. I only use the one microphone. And I set the microphone about 4 feet away, just a little bit above the bell. If you point right at the bell, it kind of gives a little bit too much lip noise. If you keep it too far away, too much roomy sound, though in my bedroom it's not too bad. But about 4 feet away and slightly above the line of the bell is what I do. My whole setup is not very expensive. It costs under $500 US to do this whole thing and make these videos every week, which are high quality home studio recordings. Okay, so to use this Dynamite active inline preamp, first you need to make sure that you have a passive microphone. So it's important that you have that because this will not work with an active microphone. Okay, so next you plug this end here into the bottom of your microphone. You can do it with a cable, but the company says it's best if you do it right into the microphone. And then you plug your instrument cable or your microphone cable right into the bottom of the Dynamite. So plugged into the microphone, plugged into the cable, which goes into your interface. One thing that kind of scared me about this was that this requires 48 volt power or phantom power. So make sure that your microphone is plugged into this and not straight into the cable before you turn on the phantom power. You can blow out your microphone, but this does not pass the current through this device. It will not harm your microphone, passive microphone, to turn on the 48-volt power. In fact, it will not work without it. So you got to do it. It scared me at first, but it's okay. It works really, really well, I promise. So, okay, so now that you've got it all hooked up, here's a couple of examples of recording the brass instrument, in this case the bass trombone, while using a couple of different setups, including this SE Dynamite DM1 active inline preamp. Okay, so now that we've listened to that etude, let's check out something that's maybe more realistic for the trombone world. All of us, if you're an orchestral player, brass player, horn player, trumpet player, doesn't matter, tuba player, doesn't matter, you're going to record an excerpt tape at some point to send off. And so I wanted to try something a little bit louder, and so here I tried Strauss's Ein Heldenleben. So as you can see from those recording examples, this makes a massive change. This tiny little piece of gear makes a massive change in the accuracy of the recording. For me, what I always struggled with the bass trombone is finding gear that lets me record and listen back to what it sounds like while I'm in the room. A brass instrument is tricky to record, so finding the gear has been a long process for me, many of years, many different pieces of gear, and this has been a huge, tiny little piece of equipment. Huge sound upgrade, not a ton of money. Highly recommend this great SE Electronics Dynamite DM1 active inline preamplifier. If you have a ribbon mic or a passive microphone, get this for yourself. It makes a nice clear sound. It gives you a nice accurate recording even when you're playing loud bass trombone excerpts. So definitely give it a shot if this is something that you're doing at home, recording for auditions, recording for tapes, recording for fun, recording for overdubs. Give it a shot. All right. So I'll see you next week with another trombone overdub video. Again, leave comments if you want to hear anything more. If you want to hear anything specific about what headphones I use, what microphone I use, interface I use, programs I use to make these videos, even video editing. If you want to hear some tips, some techniques that I've used to be able to play the trombone the way I do, anything about my trombone in particular, you know, this is a beautiful Shires trombone, SE Shires Company trombone. I'll tell you all about the process I went through to get that. So leave a comment down below if any of those things interest you and you want to hear from me about them. So we'll see you next week with another overdub video, and until then, bye-bye.